Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm your host, Taylor McGee. We are here with First Lieutenant Blake Tabor. We're here to talk about a little holiday safety and maybe, if we have time, a little about the recent graduating class of the Academy. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So it's that time of year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, a lot of shopping, a lot of people with free time, but it's also a time that can be extremely dangerous. Lieutenant, can you just walk us through what we're looking at right now for what kind of safety issues we're seeing?
Sure. I mean, everything is typical of what we've been seeing in the past. You know, anytime we have these holidays or peak seasons, of course, the fear of danger goes up. We have, things from purse snatchings to thefts to stolen vehicles, you name it, it could happen, right? We've seen it in the past. Luckily for us, the last few years has been very tame here, and I think that's a lot to do with our proactive tendencies as it relates to our holiday patrol and staying on top of those type complaints.
Sure. I can imagine, at least from my perspective, I get out to go holiday shop. I go to Martin Luther King, where the predominant most of shopping is for that kind of stuff. And it's an absolute zoo. It's already a dangerous highway.
Absolutely.
It's got to be worse during holiday season with all those cars, and people are feeling a lot of pressure. They're feeling a lot of time constraints. Do you see a lot more accidents on MLK during that time?
We do. I mean, those things tend to spike during holiday season, of course, and you have to keep into consideration, or take into consideration rather, people from outside of our area that are coming into our community to do shopping, areas such as St. Mary Parish and different things like that. We see a large influx of people coming into our community to do shopping because of the shopping that we have here. So, traffic is always a hot topic when it comes to this. The things that we want to remind people is do the things that we're hoping that you do on a normal basis. Be vigilant, stay aware of your surroundings. If you're shopping at night, make sure that you're keeping your keys in your hand. Make sure that your phone is in your hand. Different things that you can do to get a touch with law enforcement if you need it.
And I would think that the issues you also have is you probably have some more road rage incidences because people are not getting to where they want to go quickly enough. And unfortunately, it's holiday time, people are socializing and they're drinking and they're getting out on the roads. And is that something we need to look out for?
Absolutely. So, impatient drivers is something that I believe that we deal with a lot here in Terrebonne Parish on a regular basis. And that's not just our community that happens in. I mean, that happens across the country. But again, like you spoke to earlier, Martin Luther King Boulevard, our Junior Boulevard, is a dangerous place as it is. So again, make sure that you're being cautious, you're aware of your surroundings, and by all means, try not to do things too fast.
And if you have too much to drink, you're at a party, you're at a bar celebrating, you realize it, what should you do?
Well, again, try to get a friend, get a designated driver. That's kind of been the big push, since the beginning of time whenever you drink. Luckily for us, we do have taxi services here in Terrebonne Parish. Uber is not a big thing in our area, but they are there. So again, but along with Uber, you have to keep certain things into consideration when you're dealing with that. Again, but above and beyond all, if you are too intoxicated to drive and we are your last resort, by all means, contact the sheriff's office. I would rather someone contact our agency for help if they've had too much to drink, and let us make good decisions and get you home safely, and as opposed to you hurting someone else or hurt yourself.
Absolutely. And turning the page a little bit, we got some news as far as there's a new graduating class of the Terrebonne Sheriff's Office. What exactly does that entail? What are we talking about here?
So this particular academy was a level 2 academy, so basically a corrections academy. All 16 of the graduates are in some way, shape, or form already employed by our sheriff's office. Most of them were deputies that started in the criminal justice center that we have here locally, and they are now getting their academy training so they can further their education, which is always something we strive for.
And how many graduates are there?
We had 16 this time.
16. That's always a big issue. I know that. I know it from the state trooper side of it. We're always looking money. Everybody wants more troopers. Everybody wants more law enforcement, but you got to train them. And it's expensive to do that. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. So when you can have these academies and have graduates and better, it's really the pathway to building up our workforce.
Absolutely. And it's worked great for us because, not only do we have patrol-based academies, which is a typical police academy, where we've seen other jurisdictions come in. I mean, we've had academies where our Houma Police Department is a usual attendee of those. We've seen people from Thibodeau Police Department come and various other agencies around our jurisdiction. So, but this one in particular was a corrections academy. So all 16 graduates were employed by the sheriff's office because we're the only obvious agency here that employs corrections.
And now these 16, are they now allowed to go work at the jail, or are they now allowed to do more at the jail?
They're allowed to do more, and so they'll be able to get things such as increased benefits from post pay, because now they're a graduate of a post academy. We get obviously what's called state pay, which is funding that is allowed for someone who has passed an academy. So now that they've done that, they'll have that opportunity to get that sort of state pay from a state level. In addition to that, they also have the training where they can go out and work private security details, and they can do things such as that to generate some extra income for themselves where they weren't able to do that before.
And what's important about that is that's a high turnover position, corrections, because you're dealing with a population that's tough.
It is a tough position.
You're not getting paid entirely well. They get to graduate this. At least they're getting benefits and extra pay allows y'all to keep them around, right?
Absolutely. And this is a stepping stone. You know, we reiterate that all the time. This is a stepping stone for someone getting their start in law enforcement to get to where they want to be. I started out in the jail and I ended up in violent crimes investigations and now public information. So everyone has to start somewhere, and this is a great place to start.
What's harder, the jail or just the general public?
The jail is definitely harder, but you know, both have their interesting facts about them. But, you know, again, there are so many benefits to working the jail that people don't recognize. I mean, you get to learn the people that you're going to be dealing with more times than not out on the road. So you're able to formulate some relationships in there and gain some rapport with people of the criminal element that may help you whenever you become an investigator.
Thank you, Lieutenant Tabor. This is our last segment of Bite Time, so we'll see you next time. I'm Tanner McGee, your host.